What's up, everybody? This is We Got Problems, episode number 37, Gun Violence in America and Our Youth. I'm here with my two co-hosts. We have Rhonda Rights Official, Miss Rhonda Brown, and then we have the Trash Vegan, Khalif Johnson Sr., and we also have a special guest, Imeka Wright, and I'm Curtis G. Martin. You guys, like I said, welcome to the show. Hey, this is a topic that's going on in our community all over the United States, and we just kind of wanted to touch some light on it. Trash, what you got?
Man, this is something that hits near and dear to me. There's so much going on right now. We've lost so many, so many, and it's senseless right now. So, this topic, growing up in my city, in the city of Compton, it was really something that I lost a lot of friends to. Um, and I'm still losing people to it now, and it's not stopping. So, it's something that we really kind of got to put our hands on it and see if we can do anything about it. Rhonda, I know you've come from a town where it's a little bit different on their gun laws.
Oh, yeah, on
I
their
know the gun.
laws, but it's not different. Look. I'm sure
The,
everybody in here has lost somebody to gun violence. So, I mean, the laws are not. It still happens, and it happens to us a lot.
but Memphis, you don't even need a license to carry a gun anymore, right? Didn't they change the laws on that?
Say that again.
In Memphis, they changed the laws. I know they have it where they don't even need like a gun license to
No,
get.
it's quite
Oh
a few
wow.
states that are open carry because even where I am now, it's an open carry state, but you
But
need a
they said
license
that
to conceal it.
to conceal it, but they said that you don't even need a license to have a firearm anymore.
Right.
So that's different from California. Of course, you need your gun license and you need a course your concealed to conceal it. You need that as well, but you can't just go buy a gun out here. But out there, you can just go buy a gun and don't need a license. So these laws are like all over the place, depending on where you're at, and it's something that we kind of gotta look at in our communities. So I know the queen that we invited on, Queen Imeka. I know this topic probably is something that you can definitely give us some light on. So
Well, yeah. For me, I had two sons that was murdered. I moved my children from New York to Georgia, thinking I was giving them a safe place, and I had two sons that was murdered. They were 24 and 22 at the time. So it gun violence. When you lose someone to gun violence, it doesn't just destroy. Um, it doesn't just hurt you as a parent, but it really destroys the whole family, and it touched the whole unit of the family. So my children are dealing with it every day. So I have a son that's 34 now. I have a daughter that's 42, and I have a daughter that's 36. So my oldest son had a son at 5, and now he's 27. So it's still touching our family to this day, and it's been since 2001. So, and I
wow,
never carried a gun, never wanted to carry a gun, wouldn't let the kids play with guns out of fear, of something like this. And then now, look, I'm packing.
and and that's like there's so many people that don't carry them because they are scared of them. But if you learn how to use them, you go to the classes, you get comfortable with them. Like I mean, I carry too, and I know my kids, they're scared of guns, but it's like, no, y'all are coming to the range with me. You're gonna learn how to shoot. You're gonna learn the right way, so you're not
That's right.
scared of it. You wanna
Right.
you wanna have it just in case. Like you hope you don't have to use it, but if
Right.
you do,
You got it.
you got it right,
Right.
and you know how to use it properly.
So you guys, with our youth being fascinated with guns and having no regards to life, what do you guys think is some things that we can do to try to help the community?
Me personally, I think it starts at home because the kids are liking the guns because of the games that they're playing.
Hmm.
So if the parents will pay attention to what kind of games they're purchasing and what kind of games that these children are playing with other people on the net, and sit them down and explain it to them, it won't be so new. Like it's new to them because they thinking, oh, I got you, I shot you, but don't realize in real life, when I shoot you, you're not getting back up. So
There
I
is no
think it
reset
starts at
button.
home.
You're right. There is no reset button. I look at it as a father of a young melanated king, and it was frowned upon, and he didn't understand. At 14, now he's starting to get it, but he didn't understand why I took out all first person shooters in my house. You're not playing Fortnite. You're not playing Grand Theft Auto. You're not playing Call of Duty. You're not playing any of these games that are demonstrating violence and attacking other people and doing harm to them because they die. And in the video game, they get back up.
Right.
So now, when these young minds are developing at a very early age, very impressionable, they don't get the concept as much as, okay, this is a game and you can't take this into real life because now you see all of these school shootings. There were never school shootings when I was growing up. That was never a thing. But since what, Sandy Hook and Columbine and all of these other mass shootings where kids are going to school and murdering their classmates, and it's become a norm. And people have protocols. Like I remember when we were going to school, and we had to do the earthquake drill and we had to do the fire drill. Now they have a live shooter drill in the schools, preparing our kids to just in case someone comes in there to do bodily harm to the staff and their peers. They have that now. So it's like the times are changing and they're normalizing like this type of violence in our country. And I don't believe it's the guns. I believe, like Ameka said, it's the parenting at home. It's the society that the music is perpetuating. They have different songs that's walking you down, stomping you out. We're spinning, we're drilling. It's like all of this music is basically designed around not uplifting the people, but training the kids to go be assassins. And it's sickening. Like I can't ever think of a time where you could talk about just going to kill people, and this is what these kids are talking about now, and they're selling it in the stores like it's going, this is the thing that's going, and no one's trying to regulate this. The people who's regulating the music don't have anything to say about this. It's parental guidance on there, but that doesn't take away the message that they're putting out there, and no one's even acting like it's a problem.
Yep.
I think it starts in the home as well. I think it starts with when you letting your kids listen to that type of music, right? They're giving our kids money now by the millions to talk about killing each other, and when they do that, everybody looking at, okay, if I'm hardcore, then I can get paid.
Alexis, turn off heat.
then then I can get paid. So now you got kids trying to be thugs, right? You even have I've seen guys that was actors and rappers that they're joining gangs as they're grown and have no idea what those gangs are about, right? And then now once you put yourself in that position and somebody get killed, now they see that record sales go up. Now it's a thing for people to get killed to get record sales. So I think it starts at home with us. What do our kids listen to? What are our kids watching? Like y'all said, what type of games are they playing? Right? Where are they during the day? Right? Like
Right.
that's something to think about. Like where are our kids going? Actually, who are they hanging with? Right? Like I know me growing up, I grew up around some ruthless dudes. And you know, far as everybody I know, they thought they were some real cool guys,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they protected the people around us, so they was like looked at as cool. But do we really know what they're out there doing in the streets? And that's where we got to be boots on the ground and figure out what the kids are out there doing and giving them some alternatives. What do
That
you
is
guys
true.
think?
That is
And
true.
Mm-hmm.
and you got to look at what they're putting on TV. You remember, like I remember when I was little, like they wouldn't even put kissing on TV, and that was like they show
Everything.
everything. They don't care. Like you can see somebody get murdered, you can see rape, you can see like anything on TV. There's like nothing censored now.
But you got to think it's not just the TV, it's the internet. We didn't have
What?
the
Yeah.
internet when we were
That's
coming
true.
up. So we didn't have kids having access to YouTube and they seeing some of the most heinous things. I think the worst thing that we used to see and when I grew up was like Faces of Death. Like you had to get a video cassette of Faces of Death. They had different books of it and different episodes or whatever. And they showed you like real gory stuff. But past that, you didn't really get that level of reality. It's a difference when they're putting a Freddy Krueger or a Jason or a Michael Myers, they're coming to stab you or something of that nature. But now the technology is kind of advanced and now they're showing you real life stuff now. And it's not fake anymore. You really see real people losing their lives and they're displaying it on TV and they're showing it more and more and more. So now they're desensitizing you to death. And once you're desensitized to it, it's like, oh, there's somebody just got killed. Like now, like I stay in a decent neighborhood to the point where I don't have to hear helicopters anymore. Like growing up in the city, you got used to hearing helicopters all the time. It was just a thing of, it was just something that was normal. You heard sirens and you heard helicopters all the time. It took a while for me to have to get used to not hearing it because that was what was comfortable to my ear growing up. Like now, if I hear a helicopter, I'm like, oh, what's going on now? I'm not desensitized to it anymore. But as a kid growing up, you hear gunshots all the time, drive-bys all the time. But it's just another shooting. Oh, somebody got shot. Oh, that's just somebody else got shot. It's not like, oh, that's my friend over there and his family just lost someone. It's not like the same sensitivity as you. They just don't want you to be sensitive to it anymore. I think they're doing everything in their power to make us more accepting of this. Like this is normal, and it's not normal. People losing their lives to gun violence every day is not normal. Families losing loved ones, the amount of bodies we've lost, the amount of bodies we have lost to this is just ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And you don't understand how much goes into one of those lives, how many prayers go into it, how many blessings, how many meals, how much love and thought that went into that one life to get up into a point where it's taken at the blink of an eye, at the pull of a trigger, at the one bad decision, somebody not able to control their emotions and in the instant, all of that praying, investing, preparation, all of it's just wiped out. And it's affecting a whole generation of lives that come behind it. I have nieces and nephews, and each one of my nieces and nephews are extremely valuable to our family tree. The uncles and aunties are extremely valuable to our family tree. And you lose one piece to that family will never be the same
Never.
again. Never be the same again. No matter how you try and slice it and dice it, it will never be the same again. And we pray, we do everything in our power to keep the family as tight as possible. But the moment you step out of these doors and the world is the way it's moving, we don't have any control over it, and it's just terrifying these days. And you teach them to be as protected as possible, but
Well, you got to
you
have
can't
the you got to have the hard conversations with your children. When they're growing up, they don't know all the negativity that's out there in the world. But if you don't sit them down and tell them, hey, it's okay to forgive. It's okay not to be mad. It's okay to tell that person that you're sorry. It doesn't always necessarily have to turn into a fight. Something so trivial, it always turns into something bigger than what it's really worth. And then there's a life gone. So it starts with, you got to have conversations with your children so that they can be the one that say, hey man, I'm sorry, or I didn't mean that, because it festered in that other person's mind. Oh, I got to kill him. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it's a conversation that you got to have with your family and with your children so that they can come back home. Once they leave your home, they can come back, or they get out of school, they can come back. The last school shooting, if you remember, the kids was talking to the shooter at the door, and because he said, bro, They thought he was
They
a
said
police officer. Because
until
he
he
said,
said,
bro, they knew that he was that they had to get out of there. That he was the one that was doing the shooting. But look at how we got to teach our children. If nobody didn't say nothing, they would have been, happy go lucky and open the door, and that person would have been able to kill everybody in that room. So
like you said, with those conversations, the same way we tell our kids how to act around the police and what to do, right? We still got to have those conversations with people, right? About people. Yeah.
That's right.
But we also have to.
I'm sorry.
We have to get in our neighborhoods too. Like, you think back in the day, you got in trouble, your whole neighborhood knew it. You got in trouble, every adult in the neighborhood. Like, I mean, we got to start community. I don't want to say community policing, but
we do. That's
that's
what gangs were originally about.
Right.
The Crips and the Bloods, which were the businessmen and the disciples and all of these different neighborhood organizations when we had the men before they started attacking the men in the homes. Now, when they started attacking the men in the home, then that kind of took that element out and that protection out of our communities. When the men who were supposed to be protecting the communities, they became public enemy number one to the officers. We've always been under attack. But when they start attacking and using our women to attack us, because now in order to get this government assistance, these women got to get these men out the house. And the men don't have any other options. So now they're out on the streets doing things that they shouldn't be doing because they're just trying to survive. And now we have a different type of element that turns these same organizations that were meant to protect, they threw drugs in front of them. They gave them automatic weapons. Reaganomics came into play. And once Reaganomics hit, and at least out here in LA, when Reaganomics hit and Freeway and all of them start moving powder all over the country, now it's money involved. It became a business. And when they start making that business more important, now these men have money and they have jewelry and they have nice cars. Now, this is who the kids are glamorizing. These are who the kids are looking up to. They're not looking up to Marcus Allen anymore. They're not looking up to the Bo Jacksons and the baseball players anymore. Nah, because Freeway, he pushing through here in a different BMW and a different Mercedes Benz every day. I don't want to be like that dude on the TV who got to go get hit for that. I could stand on the corner for about 15 minutes and make what they made all year. So now they looking at somebody else as the heroes now. And that was designed by plan. That was a plan that was designed.
So what about like in some of these communities where, like, I'm from LA as well, so I've seen where trains are stopped on the railroad tracks, and then eventually somebody decide to go in one, or one is open and it's nothing but guns in there, and then they take all of the guns, and then now all of these guns are on the streets, right? I've seen it. So what do you guys think about that? Like, how are these guns actually getting in the hands of our youth?
But I think it's a setup. It's the setup to continue to destroy us. When George Floyd got murdered, and they had the riot down here in Atlanta, they had white guys in black faces. They had people putting rocks at the stores so that they can use them, and then we were the ones being, the black people were the ones being blamed for it. So it's always been their plan to destroy us and to keep us apart. Because once we realized that we are the more powerful ones, and we came together and kept our money in our community and taught our children and kept them out of that, none of this stuff wouldn't happen. That, to me, is just a plan. We're not going out getting those. What we know about getting those guns? So they're bringing it in our communities so that we can use it and so that they can have the opportunity to take us out.
They brought in the drugs, they brought in the guns, they brought in the violence. Because even with some of the riots, like there's video of officers starting the riots, but of course we join in because why not, right?
And then somewhat emotional, you right? Like at some point we get fed up. So I get it, and we get emotional, and then something happen and somebody willing to kick it off, then we willing to join in. But at some point we got to realize the setup and what's going on. And how do we save our community going forward from kids with guns?
They
Back
No,
to
need
we
that
said it
options.
starts in the
conversation.
home.
Right. I
They need
believe it's
options.
back to that conversation. You got to have the hard conversations with your children. A lot of times they don't think you know what they're doing, or you don't know the code language or the code word. But having that conversation and explaining to them our history, not their history, and letting them know that, hey, this is a setup. And if you don't see it, you're going to get got. You got to be able to see what's going on. And we, as the elders, we got to be able to show them and tell them and give them examples.
Yeah, cause like you said, it hurts all families. Like it's one thing to lose somebody, but that other guy's going to jail, and his kids are gonna be without a father as well. So it hits on both ends. Um, my grandmother, she lost her son back in '81, so our family got hit with it early on, right? When I think it was actually just really getting started, right, or getting started to where it was on a national level. Um, what's some things we can do in the schools that can help our communities?
I say give the kids something to do, something positive and productive to do. Teach them something. Give them a trade. They took the trades out of the schools early.
They
Like
did.
you don't have shop, you don't have wood shop, you don't have home economics. They don't teach the kids how to cook. They don't teach the kids how to sew. They don't teach the kids electronics. They don't teach the kids plumbing. They don't teach the kids how to go work with their hands and have a trade that will be something that they don't need to go to college for. They should be able to be certified by the time they come out of high school so they can go into an apprenticeship. And then
Right.
from there, they should be able to be taught economics in school so they can learn how to run a business. But the system is set up so they can go ahead and be a part of the system. They want you to go to college. College isn't for every kid. College is not for every kid. Every
No, it's
kid
not.
does not need to go get $40,000 to $100,000 in debt just trying to get an education to go get this piece of paper. When they get out there, they're not even the ones that they're looking at because of where they came from, or maybe they didn't get this Harvard degree, or maybe they didn't get this Yale degree, and someone who had the money to send their kids there. Now this child who comes from the affluent family, they're more sought after because of the level of paperwork they have, not the skills they have. And that was one of the things when we came out of slavery. We had tangible skills that we could actually go physically do something, and that's what made us a lot more. We were way well off and way better off than some of the slave owners who didn't have anything to do. You know what I mean? All they knew how to be was slave owners. So they had to farm in the property, but they didn't have any skills or any trades to make that go. When we came out, we can go ahead and build shoes, we can sew, we can cook, we can go do all of this carpentry work, we can do all of these skills. We had all of the physical skills, and that's what put us in at an advantage. When our kids don't have any skills, what they're going to do is what they see on TV and what they hear in their ears all the time. Walk them down, sell all this dope, and end up in this system that they got designed for.
But if you remember, they took the all that stuff out of the schools when they started building all these prisons. So it's not that they want them to go to college. They want them to go to prison because now these prisons are businesses for them. That's when they took it out of schools. They figured they do our kids, they rate our children sixth grade reading scores to build the jails. How many jails they're gonna need by our children's sixth grade reading scores? So that was their plan. All of this is a master plan, but we don't see it. We still thinking they care about us and they love us, but the government and the system is not designed. So if we as our people don't get in there, we don't have time for it. We too busy doing everything else. But if we don't save our children and our generation, the next generation, we are going to be doomed. We are going to be doomed. So we have to do more. We talk about it, but what's the solution? So I don't me and my family, when we purchased that land, that was the idea. What
What
could we
land?
do for these children? So we're going to
Look,
do an at-risk program that we could try to take them from 10 years old to 18 years old. Hit the foster kids that don't have nowhere to go once they get out of foster care. And then these other little kids that are in school, teaching them our history. They won't even let the teachers teach them that in school anymore. They can take out Martin Luther King. I said they should have been took out Martin Luther King because that's so old. Let these kids see something that our people are doing today. Who's doing something? Who's Black that's doing something today that they can look after? They can look
Okay,
up to.
I'm not gonna let you slide by that. What you just said. Hold on. You kind of just threw that in there. You care to elaborate a little bit more? You said buy land. What was that you said?
Oh
Buy
yeah.
some land.
Well, I have me and my 7 of us, my family, my children, and their wives and husband. My family, my children. It's 7 families. We purchased 75 acres here in South Georgia, and the idea was to have something in my son's honor. And because he was killed by gun violence, we wanted to try to pull the kids from the cities, bring them down there to the country, teach them about beekeeping, about farming, how to grow food, stuff that we did back. And that's how we started growing, farms. But we think it's so much close to slavery. We'd rather go to the grocery store and buy this thing called organic versus growing it yourself. So we're going to teach them that. Also teach them entrepreneurship, different businesses, trucking, different things that they can get out there and do. Bring back all that stuff that they took out of school, bring it back to them in that setting. So that's my goal and we only had the land since September. I closed in September. So we're working on doing that, doing something different. It's going to be called the Wilderness Program, taking the kids from the city out into the wilderness so that they can see something different. No games, no TVs. We're going to be teaching them and training them stuff that their parents maybe don't know or don't have time.
Oh wow, that's beautiful. So you bought 75 acres.
Yes, sir.
And it's gonna be something to be in your son's honor. And you said you're calling it what was the name of it?
Well, the name of the whole compound is going to be my son's name is Abdul Rahim Lamore Robinson. So we're just going to call it ALR Safe Haven.
Okay.
So, but the program is going to be the Wilderness Program for at-risk youth. So they're going to be like going into the wilderness, coming from the inner city. We're going to pick them up. We're going to start off on the weekends, start off small on the weekends because they got to go to school, and then maybe do some summer courses and then grow it to something bigger.
Well, I don't know what all you planning on teaching, but I do credit repair, and I would love to come and teach them about credit or teach some type of skill, some type of way.
You can. They're going to need it. I didn't know nothing about banking. I had to learn the hard way, doing checks and spending money that I done already signed to check out to, not realizing that, hey, these people didn't cash the check. Now I done spent it. Now I got bounced checks. So we need to learn that because our parents didn't teach it to us because they didn't probably know it. You know what I'm saying? Not taking nothing from them, but who taught them? So we got to do different. We got to do something different. If we keep doing the same thing, we're going to get the same results. And sometimes the results are worse because now they got the gun violence out there. Yep. So definitely I'm going to hit you on that credit repair thing.
Yeah, no, I would love to come. I think you guys, we should get together and do something as the Black Masterminds and maybe really dig in and go there, because we started an organization called the Black Masterminds, and Black stands for Building Legacies, Activating Collective Knowledge. Wow. And that's some of the stuff we want to get into is what you're doing. And I think if we all start to join forces and everybody see us teaming up,
that's right.
From city to city, from state to state, then they'll know it's serious and the movement is happening, and then people can join in and we can get big quick by being together, right? So that's what I would like to see.
Exactly, because we can't do it. It's just 7 of us. Everybody, we don't know everything. So we are reaching out for people that do want to, come in and teach these kids and help show us some stuff. I don't know it all. I know I have the ideas of what I want it to look like. And we sit down and we collaborate every Sunday on the things that we want to do. So we definitely got to get other people to come in and teach and show them that we can learn too. Like build it, they will come.
But see, there's 7 of y'all. There's 5 of us Black Masterminds. So we all know people. The more we talk about it, and the more we join forces, and the more we start advertising, it's gonna grow.
Right. And that's what I
there's
was
going to
saying.
be a
People
lot.
want to sit around and talk. You know, they want to lip sync, talk about it. I'm like, okay, put your money where your mouth is.
Exactly.
You know, just let's do something. What's the solution? Let's do something. Even
And
if
look,
it's something small, we got to do something.
yeah, and
Hey,
that's why we always say with the podcast is we got problems, but we also have solutions. We don't just sit and talk about the problems. We come up with solutions to the problems and
But
act on them.
you know, you never know what a person is going through throughout the day. So just a simple text to say, hey, have a great day. Hey, be blessed. Hey, don't let nobody knock you off your square. Hey, stay focused. Just that little thing could. I always send people text saying, hey, here's my 3 Ps. Have a positive, powerful, and peaceful day. You know, just something to get your day started is
No, that's
powerful.
good.
It doesn't have to be nothing major. Just something. Just let you know that I'm thinking about you and that I got you in my prayers.
Or
always.
passing somebody and just saying hi.
Oh my God. Like I used to work for Delta. I'm gonna tell you this quick story. I used to work for Delta and we all got the same uniform on. People will walk past you with their head down. I will make you speak to me. I'm gonna make you speak. We work for the same company. Why you can't speak? Just in general. Let me tell you, when I moved to Georgia from New York, you stay in your own lane. You get on the trains, you don't say nothing because you don't know who's crazy. Coming down here, people, yes, sir, how you doing, ma'am? This, that, and the third. How you doing? You looking at them like strange, but it's the way of the South.
Yeah,
Southern
yeah.
hospitality is
Yes,
real, and I love it.
yes, yes.
And I like it too. I remember being at work one day and a gentleman came past me and he was looking at me with the evil eye like we about to fight soon as one of us say something. Right. And he was looking at me so hard and I said, man, I said, hey, what's up, brother? And he ain't say not one word. And so I said, how can I get this guy, right? Like to open him up a little bit. I'm like, hey man, what's up, man? Who did something to you, man? Where they at? And he looked at me, no, OG, I'm cool, man. You all right? I was like, yeah, I'm all right. And that was the only thing got him to speak to me. It was
But
weird, but I had to try to figure out a way to get him to talk.
but you don't know what's going on in people's minds. So if you bring it up or if you say something to them, you know what I mean, to ease it or to take down that wall, then it's a help. There was this guy in New York that used to tell it was a radio person. He used to tell you what color to wear for the day. Every morning he would get on and tell you what color to wear for the day. Something positive to start your day.
Mm-hmm.
A simple hi.
Um, when you say that, people don't understand what you really do. Like you're one of the goddesses that tap in with me on a daily basis, just making sure I'm on my square. I remember you caught me on my live one morning and I was full. I had like so much going on in my heart. I had a lot going on in my life. And I was doing what I would normally do. And I was trying to cover it up. And I really was. I was doing my very best to put my little smiling face on, but I was just full at the time, and you caught it, and you didn't. I don't know how many other people caught it. You caught it, and you made sure you got me right. You smacked me up, said, "Boy, boy, get right." And ever since that day, I hold it true to my heart because I truly value just the time, the thoughtfulness, and just the words of encouragement. That means the world to me. It keeps me in a really, really good energy space. It keeps my heart feeling real good. And I can't thank you enough for what you do. And
Oh,
people
that's
don't understand.
oh,
They don't understand what it means. Like to me, it means the world. You know what I mean? Just having someone you know out there that actually cares about you, it helps tremendously. So I thank you for what you do for me.
oh,
And
you're so
I know you
welcome.
do it for I know I'm not the only one, but you make it feel like it's just me. You make it feel like it's just me. I can't thank you enough. So that's that's one thing that she definitely is really, really good at. And I do my very best to make sure I reciprocate the energy that you send through me. I make sure I send it out tenfold to everybody who I know who depends on me. I have a lot of people that just hit me on a daily basis. They go through some stuff, or they might be having an issue in their life, and I try and give the same energy you give to me. I try and make sure I reciprocate it out and give it back as well to the world. So I thank you. I really do thank you. You are
Oh,
important
you are
out
so
there in
welcome,
music.
so welcome. And that's small. That's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Something that's
It's
simple.
it's everything. It's
But a lot of
everything.
people think they got to go all out. They got to send you this big prayer and the Lord and all this stuff. It's not even that deep. You know what I mean? Just set my day off. You know, give me something to think about. And like you said, when you run into the next person, you're feeding it off of them. You're paying it forward. Something that simple.
Mhm.
Because you never know what a person is going through. People have suicidal thoughts all the time, and you don't know. And you don't know the. You know, you could put on a face like I put it on. I told somebody today, I am a functional emotional wreck for 20 years since I lost my sons. That's but I put on this facade because I know that I have to go on and I have people looking at me. I'm like a fishbowl. So I got to keep it moving. And I had to pray to my higher power to say, hey, give me strength to learn how to live with this loss. I felt as a mother, I lost a pup, you know, like one of my little pups. And how do you do that? But you can't be everywhere and you can't do everything. You know, you do your best. Parenting don't come with no instructions. You do the
No,
best
it doesn't.
with what you have. You know, and it's got evil people out there that will take your, you know, take people from you. Like my sister and her two children was murdered by her, the hands of her boyfriend. And then a year on that, my sister's anniversary, my brother committed suicide because he couldn't handle it. So just to know, to go through all those things in life. But what I've learned is the older we get, the more death we're going to see. And I understand death more now than I did before. You know, when I lost my mother, it wasn't as bad because she was 82 years old. And everybody was like, why are you not freaking out? But God prepares you and he doesn't give you the end result because you know you can't handle it.
Wow, that's deep.
Right.
Man, it just makes me think like the other for Thanksgiving, my mom's been suffering from bone cancer since 2010. And when they diagnosed her, they was like, "Oh, you got about 6 months to a year to get your affairs in order." And it was right before my daughter was born, and we've been dealing with it. But my mom, she's still here. And for Thanksgiving, she was just talking in the living room. She came out. She wanted to come out, and she wanted to be around the family. So she came out. I went and got her first thing that morning. We were around eating, and she started talking about what was going on with her cancer. And she was like, "The doctor said I'm done. I've maxed out all of their treatments. They have nothing else they can do." She's not on. She's not going to see her oncologist anymore, just for the general checkups and stuff. But they don't. They're not giving her any more treatments or anything. And when she said it, I started laughing, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, they're like, "Why are you laughing?" I'm like, "My mom is kicking cancer's ass." So
Exactly.
they don't have anything for her. Like my mom is winning, and they didn't say it was because you can't get rid of it out of the bone marrow. So it's just either there or it's not, and it's just how your body is affected by it. And I laugh because I know my mom is a very strong queen, the strongest woman I've ever met. She's been through the ups and downs of life 10 times around. And cancer is just something she kicked this ass left and right. I remember 2 years ago they was like, "Get your affairs in order. You got 3 months," and then she's still here. So they just practicing. They don't know,
That's right. They
and
don't.
they can't tell you which way it's gonna be up or down, and they don't know when your last day is gonna be. Your last day is when your body gives up on you,
That's right.
and until that moment comes, you keep on living. It's like my mom always told me. She said, "Keep on living and live the best life you know how to live while you're here. Don't live to have a great life after you die. Live to have a good life while you're here. And when your time is here, just make sure you have your chin up and your head held high, and you ain't got nothing to regret. No regrets. I don't live for regrets. I live to live the best life I can, and I know I'm gonna make mistakes along the way. I just try to make sure I make them with a pure heart, and we learn from our mistakes, and we call them lessons these days instead of losses."
That's good. That is good, and that is a blessing that she's still here because, like you said, they don't know. And when your mom said, "Live it here, be happy here," we don't know what the after. Is there an afterlife? I ain't never known nobody to come back and tell me what it was like. You know,
Don't
the
nobody.
heaven and hell. That we right here, heaven and hell is right here on earth. Nobody never came back and said, because people tell you, "Oh, they're in a better place." Really? Have you been
How
there?
you know?
Do you know
How you
anybody that
know?
came back? I hate to say that. You know, I've had so many losses. So I just listen to people because it's learned behavior. Everything that a lot of
Hmm.
people do, even going to church, is learned behavior.
They see our old folks how they act up in church, and they think that's how they supposed to get the Holy Ghost. Then you see the kids running around there, dun
Right.
dun 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 dun. All they doing is what they saw Granny do.
That's
Granny
right.
got to do it. Let me
That's
do
right.
that little dance. Let me do my little shuffle dance up and down the aisle. Can't nobody tell me I'm wrong, right? Granny just did it. Didn't she just do it?
That's
What's
right.
wrong
You're
with me
right.
doing it too?
Hey, look, I hate for y'all to take me here, but look,
Are
uh,
we taking you there?
yeah. But because a friend of mine, man, his mother and my mother was friends since they were like in kindergarten, right? And so a couple years ago, we was together, me and the two sons. And he said, "Man, my mom's took me to church the other day, man." And he said, "I was watching a guy." He said, "Everybody go up there. The preacher was hitting them on the forehead, and they was passing out." He said, "We went up there, me and my mom's. My mom's passed on out." He said, "Man, dude hit me. I ain't do nothing. He hit me again, and mom's looked at me. I went on and passed out."
You better fall. That is a fact. You better
Oh.
fall.
Hey, he hit that second hit, boy. We'd have been. You better be ready to square up, champ. You ain't finna
Look,
keep
that's what
on
I
hitting
thought he
me in
was
my
gonna
head.
say.
Yeah, no. He said he went on and passed out just to keep moms right.
Yeah, it's learned behavior. But we got to make some changes, and we got to start at home. And we got to
Yeah.
because all my children are grown and gone, thank God. But I have the grandchildren, and I also have I have a great grand now. So I'm excited about that. My first great grand, he's like about 2 months old. So if we don't
Congratulations.
talk to them and tell them, who else is going to tell us? Our ancestors, our great grandparents and grandparents, most of them are gone. So you got to tell them. You got to teach them at home. You got to tell them the hard stories, and you got to tell them the hard lessons. You got to give it to them. That's the solution, and we just can't be afraid to tell them. You can't sugarcoat it. I always tell my grandson, I'm black or white. I'm not in between. I'm gonna give it to you in the raw, so that you can get it and know that I'm telling you the truth. I don't know how to make it cushion it for you. You got to hit that bottom.
But we got some punk ass parents these days. We got some punk ass parents these days that raise some soft ass kids out here, thinking that everybody's supposed to get a participation trophy, and the way of the world is so different, and like it's just not what it was when I came up. So, and I have to kind of get my mind around it. Like I look at some of the young boys right now. I think the biggest shoe out last year was the Crocs. So now all of the kids want to be in these little sliders with no heels on them. And my dad always raised me like, boy, you don't know if you got to get out, run, or fight. You better have some shoes on for that. You don't go out the house with no flip flops on and just doing soft stuff. Like these boys are really, really, and it became so. Everyone else is doing it, so many kids have become followers of this
Followers.
behavior.
That's
They're
right.
followers of this behavior, and it's just a culture that I don't recognize. Like this is not stuff that I could have grew up in my neighborhood walking outside in no flip flops as a young man. I had homies that would have beat you up if they'd have saw you outside with some shoes on like that. Like, what you doing? You can't play no football. Man, get out of here. Boop, 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 boop. Next thing you know, you slap boxing in the middle of the street in your bare feet because you didn't wear the shoes outside to kind of get you some stability and actually do something. And then you go back in the house, you come back outside, you ready to rumble from that point on. But like the culture that these kids are brought up in, like they raised by a bunch of excuse me, because I know we have some solid women out there who are raising some young people out here. And I'm not trying to come after the single mothers or the mothers, but I know that we don't have enough fathers being the men that they're supposed to be to these young kids to teach them these lessons. My father taught me that. So in turn, I teach my son that. And I make sure I teach my daughter how to become a young queen that's respected and loved by a man. But it's so much going on, and it's not a common thing where we have good fathers being good fathers and parents being co-parenting correctly to make sure some of these problems can get washed out. Parenting eliminates a lot of the problems that we have in our community, and we don't have enough parenting, two people doing a good job together to make these situations kind of go away. And it just takes some work for men and women to get along and not be each other's enemy. Like, we
Man,
don't have to agree on everything, but we don't have to be each other's enemy either.
I can
But you
tell
got
you
to
a
co-parent.
story. I can
Go
tell
ahead.
you a story they did with some elephants. I don't know if you guys seen it, but they had some elephants and they took the fathers away. Then they took the mothers away and they let the smaller elephants just run around and kind of do their own thing. The elephants started terrorizing the whole village. They brought the fathers back and it finally settled back down. So I don't know if that was an experiment to come deal with us, right? Like, you know, they do everything for a reason in this country.
Right.
But I think some kids just are not taught the right things to do. Like I often talk about my mentors growing up. People always say we didn't have mentors. We did. They just was teaching us the wrong things. Right. I remember guys teaching me what to do when I go to the penitentiary. I never went, but they used to teach us this what you do when you go to the penitentiary. But the path I was on, they kind of knew that's where I was going. Right. So I say this to say, we got to start teaching the kids the right way. Right. We got to start teaching the kids, even if we're not their parents, we got to like plant that seed into some of these kids, like you're doing with your program. We got to start planting them seeds. We got to like make it our business, right? Everybody in this whole mind your business culture, you know, the community was our business.
Right. Right.
Right. We got to
Our
make the
kids are
community
our
better.
business.
Yeah. We got
Right.
to make that back our business. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just got to be a change. We gotta show more love. We got to show more appreciation to the people that's doing things in the community, right? Not overshadow them, right? And help them out. Like I think you said, let's not just talk about it. Let's do something. Put your money where your mouth is, or put your time where your mouth is.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Because that's better than money. We're
Hey,
gonna also pull in some parents. So when we bring the kids in, because if you teach the kids, you got to teach the parents too. A lot of parents don't
exactly.
know. So we're also implementing a class for the parents so that they can know what their kids are being taught, and then they can be a part of the program as well.
Reinforce it.
Yes,
Reinforce it once
yes.
they
Because a
leave.
lot of them don't know. They don't know. You said the young guys, the young kids are wearing flip flops. There's some grown men out there wearing them too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? There's some grown men out there wearing them too. Pants hanging down. I be wanting to snatch their pants up so bad. They don't even understand where that come from. And what are you doing? We don't want to see your underwear.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just don't. Now they buying stylish underwear to show.
Yeah.
But they can't even walk. They're holding their pants. They can't run, and they're changing their walk with their pants
Hey,
halfway down their hips.
hey,
And then
do
they
it
gotta
for the
wear purses because they can't fit nothing in their pockets.
Oh, oh,
She went there.
oh. Hey, we
I'm
got
sorry.
problems.
we got problems. We
But I like
definitely
the
got
men purse.
problems.
I like the men
Oh
purses.
no.
Just the one how you wear them.
Oh, I can't see it. I can't see it. I'm a grown man. I got an old school wallet.
In your
I
back
got an
And
pocket.
they
old
go in
school.
your back pocket, huh?
Well, you got men
No,
wearing
sometimes I
ruffles.
put it in
So
my jacket. Sometimes I put it in my
Okay,
jacket.
okay, but it can fit in your pocket, is
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
that's another thing that need to be taught, right? Like my son, he don't get skinny jeans, right? I'll give him some that fit, but I don't give him the extreme skinny jeans, right?
right.
Like we don't do Crocs. It's just like I guess I'm from that different era, and I'm bringing it to him as well. Like dude, there's just certain stuff we don't do, certain stuff we don't wear.
As a
Um,
man.
yeah,
You
as a
raising
man.
a young man. You're raising a young man. You're not raising one of these fun boys. Let me not be disrespectful. Please
Yeah,
let me
no,
not be
even
disrespectful.
laying down. Hey, bro, sit. Hey, kick your legs out, man. We don't lay down like that, right? Like that stuff has to be taught, right?
What I missed that one went over my head.
No, like if he lay down a certain way, I tell him, hey, kick your legs out, man. Men have their
Yeah,
legs straightened out. We don't ball up like that.
like look,
Yeah,
yeah,
What?
yeah,
in the
no,
fetal position.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
don't want to
no,
see my
chill.
son in no fetal position. You better let it all hang out. Let your legs
I
stretch out.
never
Get
heard
your
of that. See, I'm
Yeah,
learning something new. I've never heard of that.
yeah,
It's
no,
certain
I'm
stuff you don't want to see as a man, because like if you were to ever go in someplace else and they curled up like that, that's a victim.
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah, no.
Okay.
It's
There's certain
Don't
rules
drop
to
the
this.
soap.
Don't
Hey,
drop the soap.
exactly.
Okay, I learned something new. I better not catch nobody laying balled up. All right.
Hey, no fetal positions. We don't teach that. My son, when he sleep, he's all the way out. His legs are fully stretched, and then he fully stretches out. He's a young king. I expect him to sleep like that too.
See, I don't go that hardcore. If he sleep, if he
No,
sleep,
if he
then
sleep, he not in no fetal position. My son sleeps fully
no,
stretched out.
they gonna stretch out anyway. But if they cold and he sleep, I'm kind of cool. But I'll go over there and tug on him. Hey, what's up, man? And then he'll stretch out automatically, right? But yeah, I ain't looking to lounge out like
Because
that for
that's what I
sure.
was gonna say. What if you cold? You can't ball up. If you cold, you gotta
Get a
cut the heat
blanket.
on, huh?
That's sweet on. Hey, you guys. So it sounds like we said we need a lot more love in the community. Sound like we said we need a lot more programs to where we teaching the kids. Um, I'm all for it. Hey, Trash, you got any last closing words, my brother?
I run my track program. Before we close, I'll speak on this. I give back by really building into our youth. Curtis, you know how I am about working with the elders, but I really am passionate about working with the youth for the simple fact, if we give the kids something constructive to do, it will go with them for a lifetime. And we don't know what seeds that we're planting and how they're going to flourish later. So I say start with our youth, give them something constructive to do, give them something that they can actually show pride in, and that they can go ahead and create a future for themselves off their own merits. If they have something that they can do that's uniquely designed to them, track and field has running, jumping, throwing. They have a number of different things for all ages and all skills, all walks of life kids can get into. I really, really am passionate about track and field because that in itself is something that every kid has a space in. I've seen youth football, and I have no knock to anybody who wants to put their kid in youth football. It's not for me. I've seen how some of the parents behave out there, at least out here, how the parents behave out there. And it's like even some of the coaches, how they behave out there. They like one of the homies too. So I've seen so much stuff out there that it's not the route that I choose to take my children and my family down, but it's just get your kids into something constructive. And I don't recommend our kids just go out there and play this barbarian sport. I love track because you have very few injuries. You can get injured in anything you do, but track has fewer injuries than most sports that you see. And it's a really good individual character exposing sports. It shows you exactly who you are. So that's where I'm passionate at. I put my time into the youth sports, and I advise everyone to find a different avenue for their family to go down. And sports is a good way. Read to your kids daily. Definitely read to your kids, parents. It's so important to read to your children and be open and hold conversations about reading and the stories you read. It helps with the comprehension, it helps them with the understanding. And those same stories and comprehension that you're talking about in your home with your children as they grow up are the same stories that they comprehend and they step out your doors and they go out into the real world with. So I'll end on that note. And yeah.
All right, appreciate you, Trash. Rhonda, you have any last closing words for us?
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I think that the parents have to be involved as well. Don't just put your children in things. You need to be involved in them as well.
All right,
I
good
think
stuff.
that will help a lot.
All right, Queen Ameka, do you have any last closing words for us?
I do. I think that we shouldn't be, as parents, be afraid because we don't say we love you anymore. We shouldn't be afraid to tell our children that we love them and hug them. That's something I practice with my kids all the time. When they see me, they hug me. And I always say, hey, I love you. When at the beginning, the end of a conversation, I always say that. So when they go out there in the streets, they know that they're loved at home and they're going to want to get back home to that loving parent. So we should be able to tell our children that we love them.
I appreciate you. That's good. I do the same. Hey, my last closing words is, hey, you guys, let's get back to restoring our community. It's going to take each and every one of us to restore our community, and we start with one kid at a time, one parent at a time, till we reach the whole community. Mecca, good luck on your wilderness program, and
Thank
we
you.
do definitely want to be a part of it. You guys, this is We Got Problems, where we talk solutions, and we out.